This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light, this pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around all through the night. Safe till the morning light.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church of Portland and Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick combined religious exploration service. In order to maintain a more serene
Elizabeth, you're muted. There you go.
It's gone back on again. I turned it off. Sorry. Okay, I'll start again. Okay, thank you. Excuse me for the error on my part, but anyway, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church of Portland and Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick combined religious exploration service. In order to maintain a more serene setting this morning, we ask that all sound and video remain off until our virtual coffee hour breakout rooms following the service. Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Guest, and I serve on the First Parish Worship Committee. I'm glad to see all of you here as we gather to worship. Both First Parish and UUCB are welcoming, caring communities committed to a free and open search for meaning, guided by the wisdom of ages, reason, intuition, and experience. We work toward a more accepting, peaceful world with respect for all existence. We especially welcome any new newcomers today. We hope you continue to explore our faith tradition and our congregational life. If you have questions, please visit the Portland or Brunswick websites or call our offices during the week. We are people of all ages, people of many backgrounds, and people of many beliefs. We are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. We create spirituality and community beyond boundaries, working for more justice and more love in our own lives and in the world. Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes 7 principles grounded in the humanistic teachings of the world's religions. Our spirituality is unbounded, drawing from scripture and science, nature and philosophy, personal experience, and ancient tradition as described in our 6 sources. The mission of First Parish, and you may join me if you know it, is to nurture the spirit, grow in community, and help heal the world. The mission of UUCB, and again, you may join me if you know it, is to be a spiritual community, to welcome all, to nurture one another, to work for justice, and to care for the earth. This year, because COVID-19 moved our religious exploration meetings to Zoom, we had a special opportunity to combine the children and teachers from First Parish with those from UUCB to form one large religious exploration class. Today, we will celebrate these brilliant and amazing children and their teachers as we listen to their thoughtful and heartfelt reflections on our world and how wonderful it is. But before we begin our service, let us acknowledge the fact that we live and worship on taken land. We are in the homeland of the Wabanaki, the people of the dawn. Let us take a moment to extend our respect and gratitude to the many Indigenous people and their ancestors whose rich histories and vibrant communities include the Abenaki, Maliseet, Micmac, Passamaquoddy, and Penobscot nations, and all of the native communities who have lived here for thousands of generations. We make this acknowledgement aware of continual violations of water, territorial rights, and sacred sites in the Wabanaki homeland. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to this May 23rd joint worship service. My name is Bill Clark and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick, Maine. This morning we are celebrating the work and learning of our students and teachers from Brunswick and Portland. It is good to be together. The Brunswick Charity with Soul this month is Habitat for Humanity, and we hope you will decide to give generously to this life-enhancing organization. Please enjoy the service and attend our coffee hour here in Brunswick immediately following. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jason Shedlock, and I'm the president of the governing board of First Parish Church in Portland. I know you're as excited as I am to join with our friends from the UU Church in Brunswick for this joint service, and even more excited to highlight the work of our extraordinary youth who've been working so hard at their RE classes. As an RE parent myself, I know how proud I am of the work that all of our students have done together. Enjoy the service and we'll see you at coffee hour. Take care.
Please join me in a time of meditation or prayer. Spirit of life and love, what a year it has been. We gather on this day with hearts full of gratitude that even in the midst of a global pandemic that has separated us from one another physically, we're grateful that our connection remains strong. Today, we celebrate the work and learning of our children and their teachers, and I am reminded that the children are not our future. They are here now and very much a part of who we are. But we do owe them our very best to ensure that we are leaving them a world that will allow them to flourish and grow. Grown-ups, let us continue to bring our very best selves to the work that we do, modeling not only courage, but also compassion, offering not only strength, but also tenderness and vulnerability. Children, teach us what you already know, that the world is beautiful and exciting and needs our loving care. And may you, dear children, always know that you are precious and worthy and beloved. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.
Good morning. He's got the whole world in his hands is a well-known traditional song, but as you will see, we've changed up the lyrics a bit to make it a good fit for today's service. I'm Tamis Donovan, one of the UUCB RE teachers, and I invite you to sing and sign along with me. Oh, there they are. Magically, they've appeared in the chat, the lyrics have, and I'll teach you the hand signs. So let's get started. Show me your palms. We're going to shape a round world and hold it in our hands. And round world, hold it in our hands. And you can just give a little bit out to the universe by pushing your hands towards the screen a little bit. Next, we're going to hold a little bitty baby in our hands. So the sign for this is rocking the baby. Growing up, we've got the growing up children in our hands. So growing up. And we've got kids of all ages in our hands. So we're going to use the sign age, which is kind of like you're grasping your whiskers, and as you age, they grow. Age. And lastly, but not least, we're going to have the spirit of love in our hands. So spirit is, you take your middle finger and your thumb and kind of bring the spirit up, and then simplified version of the sign for love. Okay, I hope you'll sing with me. Here we go. We've got the whole world in our hands. 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 We've got the little bitty baby in our hands. We've got the little bitty baby in our hands. We've got the little bitty baby in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the growing up children in our hands. We've got the growing up children in our hands. We've got the growing up children in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the kids of all ages in our hands. We've got the kids of all ages in our hands. We've got the kids of all ages in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the spirit of love in our hands. We've got the spirit of love in our hands. We've got the spirit of love in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole world in our hands. Yay, thank you. That's so amazing to see so many people doing this, singing and the hand signs. Thanks, so cool. Such energy. Well, as I had mentioned earlier, we changed up the lyrics a bit for he's got the whole world in his hands to make it a better fit. That same theme has been true of our Sunday meetings in RE. As you can imagine, with our shift to virtual, we've been doing a lot of changing things up. I know it wasn't easy for my young UUCB charges, Perry and Jocelyn, who made that sudden shift to online RE right along with me. For example, we could still do crafts together, but it's just not the same when you can't reach across the table and grab some of that sparkly blue glitter to decorate our creation with, or kindly share our yellow marker with a fellow classmate. We can still dance around our own space to a super fun video, but we can't fall down together on the floor giggling like we used to, or hold hands and skip with our friends. Remember that? My comfort level is sitting crisscross applesauce on the rug with the pre-K and kindergartners right next to me, reading a good picture book about the theme of the day, examining each illustration carefully, exploring questions and insights together. Sure, you can read a book together online, but you know, it's harder to see the details in the pictures. It's harder to notice something in that child's face that says we need to go over that again, or that it's time to move on. It's just harder. But now, fast forward a little more than a year. Yes, things have changed big time. For one thing, my preschoolers are now finishing up their kindergarten year. What? But I have found that connecting with all the RE children every week on Zoom and meeting and getting to know new children from First Parish has been an absolutely heartwarming experience of creativity, personal touching moments, surprises, laughter, love, and learning, lots of it. The children's willingness to engage with us on even the most thought-provoking topics is amazing. I think all of us have learned from each other and about each other, perhaps in some ways even more than in a classroom setting. Zoom can be a strangely intimate space where, when trust and acceptance is established, lots of sharing can happen. I care so much about these kids and the teachers. Dare I say we have all come to care so much about each other. Would we have felt the same way after a year of normal RE? With Tobin and my co-teachers, I have felt an enormous level of support and trust. Thank you so much, Tobin, Carol, and Heather. And thank you so much to the parents who are helping behind the scenes, behind the screens. We see you. Your efforts are noticed and greatly appreciated. In other words, thanks for keeping the dogs quiet in the other room. No, but literally, we could not do this without you. In the end, I think this year has helped all of us to see that nothing is impossible if you just change things up a little and then give it a good try. This is our world. We've gone through it together. We have each other in our hands. We are amazing together, and I am so grateful.
Good morning. My name is Heather Davis, and I'm here with my son, Arlo Bush. He's 4, and the reality of doing church together on Zoom with a 4-year-old, we're all about to experience it. I have served First Parish this year as a volunteer religious exploration teacher, and I came to First Parish originally because of my children. My brilliant and curious child, Nora, had questions about God and Christianity and Judaism that I couldn't answer on my own. And my own desire for connection and community played a role, but ultimately it was a search for my children's religious education that led me here. So it's fitting that over time, the spiritual experience I wanted for myself finally came when Tobin asked me to volunteer one day in the preschool RE classroom a few years ago. Though I've listened to countless beautiful sermons and sung through Christmas Eve services and attended committees and chalice groups, I've always felt most comfortable at church playing with my son in the nursery upstairs or spending time in the children's corner during coffee hour, and finally as a teacher in the RE classroom. We're building a little Play-Doh structure and talking about it. In the RE classroom, I get to see things like a student like Anjali growing into herself as an activist and leader. I get to observe the gentle, caring way Evelyn whispers advice to her little sister Jocelyn when she has a question, or I get to laugh so hard that I can't even talk during a game of Mad Libs. And these moments are more spiritual to me than anything I've experienced at church. So I'm grateful to Tobin for inviting me to participate. And I'm grateful to my fellow teachers, the lovely and talented Carol and Tamis, who I get to share this with. And one of the ways that we celebrate and honor our connection to our Unitarian Universalist history and principles is by lighting a chalice when we come together. Unitarian Universalists all over the world do this. And like most UU things, we all do it a little bit differently. I'd like to share with you all how we light our chalice in our RE Zoom meeting. So I'll teach you the way we do it, and then I'll rely on everybody else on camera to do it while we light the chalice, because our hands will be busy with matches and candles. So when we say the warmth of love, we cross our hands over our chests. When we say the light of truth, we hold up our hands and wiggle our fingers like flames. And when we say the energy of action, oh, thank you. We move our arms like we're running in place. That's right, Arlo. Okay, so Arlo, will you hold the chalice for us? It's heavy, you got it? 2 hands.
Yes, I'm so strong.
Okay. So we light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
Here's what I'm wondering about you all. What do you think is wonderful about the world?
What I think is wonderful about the world is how the world is always moving and spinning. The green grass grows, the birds sing, ha ha ha. The trees grow, the daisies bloom, the season burst, the clouds, the blue sky. Then playing behind flowers.
I'm swimming.
How do you feel when you go swimming?
Good.
I like kindness because it's a good thing to have, and when people aren't kind, it's hard to manage life. And kindness is an encouragement. Kindness is a lot of things. I think that life is really wonderful because sometimes I think if there was a difference, and if I were to be born into a family of deer, or a family of ants, or something like that, but I like being human.
I think it's wonderful because I have friends and other things that are good, and I also like the earth because it gives the animals around us places to live.
So for me, it's friends, family, my mom, dad, grandma, obviously me, and soccer, food, just basically everything.
How there's always twists and turns.
We get to have this wonderful place, and we have roofs over our heads, and
Birds. Clouds are pretty cool. Having friends. How colors change all the time.
I like Noah because he snuggles me.
I
like Jocelyn because she's a really nice sister. And I like Bryce because he listens to Harry Potter with me.
And I like my big sister because she loves me and I love her.
I love everything good about the earth.
Avocados.
Like chocolate sea salt donuts.
There's fruits and stuff, and food and animals.
The animals.
Flowers is what I love about the earth.
Do you have a favorite kind of flower?
Violets.
Oh, I love that. Is your middle name Violet?
Jocelyn Violet.
How do you feel when you see violets?
Happy?
Me too.
I agree with Jocelyn. I love about the world with flowers. I like irises because I have a friend named Iris.
Is your middle name Rose?
Yes.
Do you love roses?
Yes. They make me happy.
Do you have people in your life who help you be more wonderful or help you see the world as more beautiful?
And my parents are like my favorite people.
Yep, and we're celebrating one of them today.
Who would that be, Bryce?
It would be Mom's.
Can you tell me what's wonderful about your mom?
That she makes us food and loves us. And Jocelyn says and loves us.
How does your mom help you see the world as more wonderful or help you be the best you?
Mostly helps me when I get really mad.
Bryce, what does she do that helps to calm you down when you're feeling mad?
She usually gives me a hug.
Hugs are wonderful. They're very, very powerful. I see some thumbs up. How many busy? What's wonderful about hugs? And I know that we've talked a little bit about with COVID, it's a little bit harder to do hugs, but what's wonderful for you about hugs?
They comfort me when I'm sad or angry.
I like hugs because it's a part of love.
Part of love. Oh, I love love. Do you love love?
Well, I guess if you love another human being, then you probably, well, most of the time you wouldn't fight with them, and fighting is not a good thing, and that just makes things worse instead of talking about it with people or something. And then also you can love, like, take care of your planet, and by doing that, you're really taking care of everybody that lives on it.
Sometimes there are things that are not wonderful about the world.
Exactly.
There are some things that are tricky or hard, or there are some people who are not fair or don't do things to take care of everybody. How can the world be wonderful if not everything about the world is wonderful?
Because there's still there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that don't like you. There's always going to be them people, no matter what you do. But you can always make sure that, or try to help make sure that nobody's getting hurt in the process physically.
And I know there are some people that have to live on the street, but we have to help them and so then they can have a wonderful world too.
I think that everyone can make a difference, and that we can control a little part of the world.
There can always be some good in a broken heart.
I think I like the good stuff in the earth, but I also like the bad stuff. Because if everything was good all the time, you wouldn't have fears. And if you didn't have fears, what you fear is kind of a part of who you are. So if you fell off a bike once, that's a bad thing. But now you know not to go too fast or something like that. So I think you need the bad things in your life to help you learn and get better at riding your bike.
Well, if everything was good, there would be no good because everything would be the same. And so with the bad and fears, you have to use courage and bravery to fight those fears and get rid of them. And all of the bad stuff is changing the world to make it a better place.
What's wonderful about you?
I'm funny. Kind, huh? Kind. What's fun about me is I'm kind. I don't really like video games.
Basically everything about me, I think, makes me great. Cooking. These are just like the outside things, like cooking, soccer, sports, mine's baseball. Caring, loving, good at any outdoor thing. Really accurate at shooting a BB gun. I don't know, like everything.
That I support the animals, support Black Lives Matter, and like support LGBTQ people, and stuff like that, and that I'm very funny, very good to get along with.
I think that I love to paint.
I like to be funny. I'm good at making riddles.
It sounds like Bryce is a wonderful brother, based on some of the things we've heard today.
Is Bryce a good big brother? So Evelyn, I'm wondering, what's wonderful about you?
I guess I'm helpful. I watch my little brother a lot, and I'm also kind.
Aw, I love that you know that about you. What's wonderful about Jocelyn? Do you want to share?
Well, she's brave.
And how about Noah? What's wonderful about Noah?
He's inheriting being funny.
Yes, he's pretty funny. He tells knock-knock jokes.
So can you think of some things that you like about our church?
Everything.
Like what? Give me some examples.
I like the RE services. I like how nice the people are. I like you. Instead of a church, I think it's the castle of kindness.
That I get to be an RE, sort of. And like that it's very LGBTQ, like, and they have great people in it. That we can help Black people and poor people and just generally help everybody. What's fun about church is like you help people. You're together. Miss Thomas sings me songs.
How do you make the world more wonderful?
I actually like to give people things, and I also like want to do some things for them. So like when my mom's hands are full, I offer to hold some things.
We bring peace, kindness, and possibilities.
Nice.
We can bring hope to people and everything in it and stop pollution. Sometimes we use machines, but we don't use it that much. That's good to the earth. And we garden to help the earth or mistake in the soil. Spreading my laughter, like making things for people and stuff like that. We don't throw trash in the ocean, and you don't use your car when you don't need to, and you don't do a lot of things to help the ozone layer, which helps the earth and everything.
Something that we can do to make the world more like wonderful is, I feel like maybe enjoying it more.
bird chirping up in the sky. I'd like to be free like that, spread my wings so high. I hear the river flowing, water running by. I'd like to be that river, see what I might find. I feel the wind blowing slowly, changing tide. I'd like to be that wind that swirl and shape the sky. I smell the flowers blooming, opening for spring. I'd like to be the flowers open to everything. I feel the seasons change, the leaves, the snow, the sun. I'd like to be those seasons made up and undone. I taste the living earth, the seeds that grow within. I'd like to be that earth, the home where life begins. I feel the moon horizon reaching into night. I'd like to be that moon, a knowing, glowing light. I hear the silence as the world begins to wake. I'd like to be that silence as the morning breaks.
Good morning, I'm Carol Masterson, and I have been, I've been an RE teacher at UUCB on and off for several years, but I have been there with Tobin as the RE director for 2 years. And then, of course, this past year of COVID, I have been with the wonderful kids of First Parish as well. Thank you, Tobin, for that wonderful little film that you put together. It was so fun to relive those moments that I had forgotten about, even though they weren't that long ago. It was just really fun to watch. And as Ben said, the children bring us possibilities. I hear my dog whining a little bit. Hopefully he'll be quiet for this. I wanted to express to you all what a blessing your children are in my life. And particularly in this last year of isolation, I feel like we have brought each other connection, which all human beings need. And it's just been a really special time, even with its limitations. Sorry about the door. And it often feels like in the lessons, they already have an understanding of what we are teaching them, and our time together just sort of solidifies what they already know to be true in their hearts. So their budding wisdom is just really kind of mind-blowing and very inspirational. As it was said by someone earlier, I really am not sure who learns more in these RE classes, the children or the teachers. We learn from each other, and there is a lot of reciprocity in our meetings together. The respect and the care and the tolerance that they show for their fellows and for our planet, those things have sustained me during this time of isolation, and those things give me so much hope for our future. The last thing I'll add is that I just really enjoyed being silly together. Oh my gosh, game days were super fun, and we had a lot of laughs. So thank you for sharing your wonderful children with us. It really has been such a pleasure. And now I hope that you will join us in singing a song called Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
The world is great, it's beautiful and wonderful. The race problems in the world are hurtful but are a handful. The world is great, but there is a lot to change. We will rise to the top and make great. Black and brown bodies getting killed at the hands of police. The police have to pay for the blood that they spilled. The world is great, but there's a lot to change.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth in it. I think it sums up a lot in just a little bit of just a poem, and it's cool. It's nice.
I agree with Kayla. I think it has a lot of truth in it. And I like it because I think that it's very, it relates to the world that we live in right now. Like Black Lives Matter, the COVID-19 is changing. I think it changes a lot of people, like their experiences. Like when kids grow up that were living through the coronavirus, they could tell when they were older, they could tell people, oh, I lived through this wicked thing that was called the coronavirus. And I mean, it changes a lot of people's lives, like getting coronavirus and like Black Lives Matter. I think whenever I'm walking down the street and I see Black Lives Matter hand-drawn signs in the window, I think like our world is changing with every day that goes by, and every person that's born and every person that dies. It changes all the time.
I wrote the poem because I didn't want to when you said write us something that reminds you of a wonderful world, I didn't want to just whitewash. I didn't want to sugarcoat it, so I didn't feel like it would be good to just have all the perks about the world without saying a little bit of what's actually happening.
I love Religious Exploration Sunday. I love getting to share our amazing children and teachers with you all. I love children's inherent ability to light up a room. I love too that the video that I made of them sharing their thoughts on the world ended up being over 13 minutes long, and that was after editing out at least 5 minutes. I love getting to give you all a peek of what our religious exploration meetings look like. If I had it my way, I would just invite you all to join in on one of our classes and hang out for the full hour. I especially love that this RE Sunday, we are all together, First Parish and UUCB. In many ways, it has been our shared ministry that has kept the RE program viable this past year, when so many families were too zoomed out from their weeks to attend yet another Zoom event on the weekend. Before we combined our meetings, there were times when there were only 2 or 3 kids who showed up, and often the teachers outnumbered them. It has been an absolute joy to watch the children and teachers get to know one another, laugh together, dig deep together, create together, and play together. It was an amazing experience to share the song What a Wonderful World with the RE children, and then hear them talk so freely and easily about the things that they think makes this world so wonderful. Parents, friends, siblings, good flowers, good food, animals, hugs, love. And it's been incredibly uplifting and inspiring to hear the teachers talk about all the things that they love about working with the RE children. The work of religious exploration, this program, is faith formation, helping to strengthen the children's connection to one another, to the congregation, to our UU history, and to the interconnected web of existence. And really, that's the work of all the ministries we do as UUs. Working with the kids of all different ages can be tempting to try to keep things light, to focus only on the skies of blue and the colors of the rainbow. Likewise, in creating a service called What a Wonderful World, it would have been very easy to just focus on all the best parts of the world, only share the easy, wonderful talks that we've had this past year in RE, but that wouldn't be very realistic, and it wouldn't be very UU of me. On the surface, the song What a Wonderful World has such a lovely melody and uplifting sentiment, but it also has a complicated history. It was written by two Jewish American men, Bob Thiel and George Weiss, and it was first offered to white crooner Tony Bennett. It wasn't until Bennett turned the song down that it was offered to Louis Armstrong, who recorded it in 1967, just 3 years after the Civil Rights Act was passed into law, effectively prohibiting discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, effectively prohibiting discrimination in public accommodations and federally funded programs, effectively strengthening the enforcement of voting rights and the desegregation of schools. During the long, hot summer of 1967, the US saw 159 race riots erupt all over the country as Black Americans spoke out against injustice stemming from the frustrations of poverty and unemployment, the systematic denial of employment opportunities by white business owners, and mistreatment by white, or mostly white, police forces. There were fears of a second civil war. So when Tony Bennett turned down Thiel and Weiss, they saw Armstrong as, quote, the perfect ambassador to restore race relations between the white people like them and the African-American community. But the song was a flop. Many members of the Black community saw Armstrong as an Uncle Tom. They accused him of acting subservient to curry favor with white people, and they criticized him for remaining silent on racial issues. Perhaps to address some of this, What a Wonderful World was released again in 1970, with Louis Armstrong offering a spoken word introduction in which he says, "Some of you young folks been saying to me, 'Hey, Pops, what do you mean the world is wonderful? How about all them wars all over the place? You call them wonderful? And how about hunger and pollution? That ain't so wonderful either. Well, how about listening to old Pops for a minute? Seems to me it ain't the world that's so bad, but what we're doing to it. And all I'm saying is, see what a wonderful world it could be if only we'd give it a chance. Love, baby, love. That's the secret. If lots more of us loved each other, we'd solve lots more problems." This version with that intro was the first version of What a Wonderful World that I ever heard, and I heard it without knowing the context of its release and reception. I loved its imagery and hopeful sentiment immediately, but it wasn't until I learned about the song's history that I truly appreciated the lesson it offered. When 12-year-old Anjali read me her poem in which she reminds us that the world is great, but there's a lot to change, she explained to me that she'd written it because she didn't feel like it would be good to talk about all the perks of the world without saying a little bit about what's actually happening. I thought to myself, thank you, brilliant young person. This year has been so hard for all of us. In many of our meetings, the children shared how much they missed their friends, how they hadn't seen their family in a long time, how much they disliked online learning, how afraid they were for the older adults in their lives, like grandparents. They shared their fears for the world, not just because of the coronavirus, but because of the deep political division, racial inequality, and police brutality going on in our country, in our communities. It's hard not to whitewash or sugarcoat reality for myself. I love to keep my blinders on. Nothing to see here but the green trees. And I'm 41 years old. It's extra hard not to want to whitewash and sugarcoat reality for our precious, brilliant children. And as much as I would have loved to keep our talks over Zoom light and fluffy, they would have been a total flop if we just stayed on the surface. UU kids are just too smart for that. They see what's going on in the world and they care. And they understand that, like Ellen said, you can't have the good without the bad. When these kids are talking about how wonderful chocolate sea salt donuts are or singing about the sky, they mean it. When these kids say that they see the world is changing every day, they mean it. When they say that the world would be more wonderful if we enjoyed it more, they mean it. They don't mean it only if there's no hard stuff. They feel all the more lucky to have a roof over their head because they know that some people are sleeping on the street. And they feel okay saying that the world is wonderful because they know that you need the hard stuff to learn from, to gain courage from. And I think most of all, they feel okay digging deeper past the candy coating because they know that they aren't alone. They know that there are adults out there that can help. They know that as UUs, they have a castle of kindness where it's LGBTQI plus friendly, where there are great people who can help Black people, help poor people, basically help everyone. They know that they are wonderful. They can name why they are wonderful. They know that we hold the world in our hands, and they know that they can help make the world more wonderful, that they can bring peace, kindness, and possibilities. And they know the world needs it. And that helps me form faith in the world. That reignites my belief in our inherent worth, in our inherent goodness. That helps me feel more connected to them, to you, to the world of possibilities that comes with being a part of a community that strives to take care of one another and to help heal the world. And it is that makes me see what a wonderful world it could be if we gave it a chance, if we put in the work, if we have hard talks, if we stand up for what we believe in. And we owe it not just to ourselves, but to our children to do that work. They are counting on us. I love getting to do a part of that work with our children. I love that you trust me and the teachers to do some of that work with them. And I absolutely love these children. And love, baby, love. That's the secret. We will now have an offertory.
Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a wonderful world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. Every congregation depends on each of its members, each one of you by your commitment of time, energy and resources, and yes, money, helps make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, working to help this world become the most wonderful version of itself. To this end, let there be an offering to sustain the work of our beloved communities. Thank you.
Thank you for your gifts today. Thank you to all the teachers and children who participated in today's service. It's very uplifting. So there's sadness that we're not physically together, but there's lots of joy and connection that our congregations have come together. So good morning, church. Good morning, children. I invite us this morning into an active prayer. Join me in rubbing your hands together. And take some deep breaths. We're activating the love and light and healing energy in our hearts. A little bit more. And let's place our hands on our hearts. Take a few more deep breaths. Blessing ourselves with compassion and kindness. Now let us lift our hands up and out toward the world, sending our love and our blessings, our healing, our gratitude to the children here today. Just imagining them, seeing them. Maybe some of them are next to you. You can move your hands towards them, and children, you can move your hands to another child and send our love and our blessings to our families, community, all the children in our families and our communities, and especially our Black and Brown, Asian, and Indigenous children, whose bodies, minds, and hearts are often treated differently than those of white children in our country. Spirit of love and life, be with our children as they journey out from us. Fill their hearts with courage and strength and tenderness. Help them to voice their truth about who they are and what they see. Help us to listen to them, not what is in our own minds, but in a way that lets them speak. Help us to accept them for who they are and not who we want them to be. Help us to cherish them for all the days of our lives, as they are our greatest teachers, and they hold all the possibilities of tomorrow. And help us, we pray, to be castles of kindness, guardians and advocates of all children everywhere, with the deep knowing that all are children of God. Blessed be, Amen, Aho.
Okay, so in our RE meetings, we extinguish the chalice with the same gestures we use to light it, and then we all blow out the chalice together like this. So feel free to gesture along with me. Though we extinguish this flame, we carry in our hearts the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action until we are together again. So can you all help me blow out the chalice? Great job.
Oh, the music has just, thank you for all of you who created all the music today. It's just so sweet and has gone deep into my heart. So thank you for that. So our service is complete. Goodbye to our streaming folks on Facebook